Hey people, Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and joining. Guys, don't forget to check us out on Odyssey, where every Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we have Mike in the Night. What a good call-in show. Unfortunately, we can't discuss these topics on YouTube because we're not Russell Brand or other channels out there that are allowed to openly discuss. So go on Odyssey to check out Mike in the Night, the original trendsetter. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining, liking, and being part of the channel. Okay, so what's going on? Well, the deregulation of the banking system was a lot more harmful because than I expected 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, when the banking systems started to deregulate and go off the rails and basically create this Frankenstein monster that we have today. Artificially lower rates, all kinds of bizarro things that were happening, and countries depended on their housing markets to sell out their own middle class to wealthy investors from China. It's one after another after another. So let's take a look at what's happening right now, and it's really starting to bubble in the United Kingdom, in London, Bank of England. What is happening? But it's major. So let's connect the dots over the last little while and see how this is coming to be. So there it is. Pound continues to lurch lower despite the Bank of England intervention. What is the Bank of England intervention? It's quantitative easing. They're doing QE. So we did a video, QE Infinity is here, and we did a video 3 years ago. Check the timestamp on that video before send me a threatening email saying I'm stealing other people's or other channels' ideas. Check the timestamp on the QE Infinity video and then compare it and search across Google. Please, guys, I don't need those threatening emails that I'm stealing from other channels. Timestamp things and look at what is being said where and when, okay? Okay, so back to here. So there it is. There it is. The impacts of this run were being felt acutely across financial markets today. The Bank of England announced strictly time-limited buying program. So they're noticing that it's hitting the bricks, right? Buying program to shore up the market in longer debt bonds, of course. And designed, we assume, in particular, to stop the damage being done to pensions by the violent increase in long-dated bond yields. So we got it up here, the gilt. So the gilt, or basically vehicles or holding capacity assets for government or UK bonds, the gilts. They call them the gilts. Okay, let's move on. And that's what's happening against, and there it is. It's crashing against the dollar. Now, Bank of England to buy up 65 billion pounds of UK bonds to stem route. And Bank of England steps in to buy long-dated bonds. 30-year yield tumbled by 100 basis points after Bank of England support, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Gilt sales due to start of next week postponed. So what is going on? There it is again. Bank of England intervenes with temporary QE to stem sell-off. And then it goes in to say right here, where was it? Yeah, the market reaction was instantaneous as the 30-year gilt yields slipped to 4.4% from well over 5% this morning. The bank also reiterated that in the statement that it will not hesitate to change interest rates by as much as needed to return to the 2% target. So there it is right there. And again, inflation is creeping up all over the world. There's the 30-year gilt yield. Again, these are just vehicles or government, Bank of England assets, bond holder vehicles, so to say. They've deregulated the banking system so badly that they've created stuff for stuff. And there it is right there. So you can see the problems they're facing right now in the UK. So let's go here, and this is a very interesting one because it paints a picture. There's the United Kingdom. This is emerging markets and the UK, and the United Kingdom is down here by Romania and Hungary, and there it is right there. And average of both, there it is, 6.6%. Now Singapore is up here. Look at Singapore. They're doing, look at that current account. Average of both. How the hell is Singapore doing so well? What is Singapore doing different? Why is Singapore on fire? Woo! Well, we're going to tell you here because we've been covering this for the last decade and the mess that we've been in all this time. So let's get into further. Let's get into this further. Right, so why is Singapore, like, look at this. China's rich are moving their money to Singapore. Beijing's cracking down is one of the reasons. And, you know, across the Commonwealth, if you've watched this, talking about the incredible amounts of money laundering that has basically bought out the Canadian proper, the American proper. Look at Seattle. Vancouver puts foreign buyers tax in Vancouver in 2017. Frantic pace, Chinese investors to Seattle and Toronto. It destroyed both markets. Woo! So that with the government clampdowns and all this stuff, and then raising interest rates, so where are the Chinese parking their money? They're parking it in Singapore. And there it is right there. They're parking their money there, and there you go. More and more wealthy Chinese are worried about keeping their money on the mainland, and it seems some see Singapore as a safe haven, and that's been going on for a little while now, since they've been trying to crack down on money laundering in Canada. They haven't really in Canada, but no one's buying the Canada model anymore. The Vancouver model, bring your money here, no questions on this. A lot of Chinese, a lot of money launderers and a lot of people bringing in money illegally were getting scared because the RCMP did an investigation. But they shut that down. Trudeau shut that down real quick in a heartbeat because that's going to free a lot of Canadians out of this debt prison they're in. But shut that right down in a heartbeat. We covered the whole money laundering and the fiasco that's been going on. And you want more proof? World economic would collapse if the city of London stopped laundering money. So it says HSBC whistleblower. Britain is due to leave the European Union. And then it goes right here. UK tied to block EU bid tighten up on a money laundering. So again, they've openly admitted that they've been laundering money. Huge amounts of money. I'm like, Mike, what does this have to do with the meltdown of England? Everything! When you deregulate the banks and you start floating money into an economy that didn't have it before, and you start building an economy off of housing and depending on on your housing and impoverishing the middle class that actually maintain that infrastructure. So let's keep going here. So what have we been talking about here on the channels? Okay, look at this. Economic takeover. London, Dublin, Edinburgh, UK, mass exodus, UK homeless crisis. Food prices set to skyrocket. Inflation issues ahead. Alberta, Sydney, Auckland, London, Los Angeles. From binge to bust, Commonwealth cities line up at food banks before the you-know-what! Woo! Let me see here. Middle class. London mass exodus. Middle class. Mass exodus of all major cities. London brain drain and skill workers. My opinion. London is following the ways of California, and there's too much government and not enough freedoms for middle and lower class. London is a hub for money laundering. So this has been happening for money laundering wars. London housing falling down. Toronto, Seattle are winning the money laundering wars 4 years ago. BS London millionaire ghost homes. Bank of England set to crumble. More money laundering now. So there it is right there, guys. Talking about this for years, and this all goes back to higher level governments or level selected government. A lot of these people weren't even elected. And a lot of people were put in positions of banking sectors and all kinds of different financial programs that basically have destroyed and disenfranchised the middle class. And then when people want to vote these people out, they're considered racists, white supremacists, and most of them, they're not even white. But that's just how it works. And this is what's been happening. And this is why the banking sector in England has no choice. Unless they call out some sort of major audit, they tried to do in Australia, where they did this major audit to find out what was going on with the banking systems. Oh my God, they just scratched the surface in Australia. The amount of corruption and lies and money laundering and cocaine deals, it's beyond what you guys could ever fathom. 21 million money laundering breaches in 1 year in one bank of Australia. 21 million, not $21 million, 21 million money laundering. You're like, Mike, why am I watching this for? Why are you talking about this? This makes no sense. This doesn't affect you. It affects you on every level. You have no idea how it's destroyed. Well, I rent. I don't care. I'm not going to own anything. Well, you've already been programmed to get off or to wane off that I'm poor and I'm going to die poor, and that's how it is. It never was like that, because these countries were built in a way for the people, by the people, controlled by the people. And now look what's happened. And it's going to get worse before it gets any better. So I hope you're prepared, like we've been saying. Hope you're prepared. Hope you're ready for the upcoming tsunami of problems that these governments that put us in this position since day one are going to go ahead and just walk away from everything like nothing happened. That's what's going to happen. And we're going to be left to figure out how to fix these problems. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.